the homework. Well, it was over state taxes, right? I know it's been a while, but is that what it was over? State taxes. If I have any questions on the state tax stuff,
Wait.
that was 133 and 136. I know it's been a while. It was last week plus, since I wasn't here Monday. Is that? Go ahead. You don't have to worry about being rude to me. Told me that. All right, what we're going to cover today, another thing that's taken out of your pay, Social Security and Medicare.
My dad gets Social Security, get hit by a car. That was a dick. I got that from the state.
Do you draw them now? Do you get to draw them now, or?
Yeah. Or they can't get access to it.
From your dad's stuff?
They're getting back about one of them semi trucks.
So what do you get? What, just you, not your dad, what do you get?
How much? Like 572 a month.
And what's-
Not anymore since I'm an adult.
Do you know what they consider it? Because your dad's still alive, right?
Yeah. He just can't work, so they.
Right, but how come, why are you getting it? That's what I was trying to figure out, is the exact setup of how it is and stuff. I know, see, I would have thought, do you know how long it's gonna last?
Oh no, it's over.
Oh, if it, until you're, it was until, I thought you said you start getting it once you were 18.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, all right, so what he's saying is, because of what happened with your dad, there was also money in there to support his children, which went into an account for you, and there had to be I don't wanna say nothing bad about any of your parents or anything, I'm trying to,
No, you're good.
I'm trying to
Spit it out.
tippy-toe around this. Did all that money get stuck into an account? And is it all still there?
No shot.
Huh?
No shot.
So some of it's been,
Yeah, it's been used to take care of me. It's
Right.
like, got us a house.
so there's you are the beneficiary of it, but there was someone who was put in charge. You're like the Britney Spears of our classroom, right? Because you had someone who was in charge of your stuff, and does everybody know the story about Britney Spears and her dad and
Yeah.
what all was going on there? Well, that's the same thing when you don't know that story at all. When
I'll tell you later. So you don't even
No, I know who she is,
Oh.
but I've listened to one of her songs maybe once out.
it doesn't have anything to do with her songs.
Yeah.
I can't name one of her songs, but I just know that who she is.
I don't know anything about her, I just know that she's famous.
I just know that her dad was in control of, like he's saying, her dad was in control of that account for her, and she didn't like the way, which I don't understand now because she's well over 18, isn't she? I don't understand why he's still in control of it, but
I think she's in like her late 30s.
yeah, see, I don't understand, so
Because she's mentally ill.
that might be,
That doesn't mean anything.
It does.
Is she, it depends on what kind of
It
influence
depends
she
on
has.
so there's something going on there that I don't know about that which I don't care about. That's her drama, not mine. But what? But
Just tuned into this
with
conversation.
with Lane, I know Lane, a friend of mine had an account like that. Actually, we were in a car wreck, me and him and a few other people, and he had an account because the insurance paid him a bunch of money for the wreck, and he stuck it, his mom and dad stuck it back, and they never touched it. And when he turned 18, then all that money was his. No, he actually did well, because he, which I can't say, I hope he's doing better now, but there was a while there where he wasn't doing so well. But he stuck it all towards a trailer there in New Paris. He bought a trailer and he bought it just outright. Well, then that allowed him to save money. And then a few years down the road, he built a house outside of New Paris, and he never had a mortgage payment because he just saved up the money to pay for he paid for the trailer from the car wreck money, and then saved up money while he was living in the trailer to pay for building the house, and then he never had a mortgage. So I'm not saying it was a good thing, because he broke both his arms and a few other things in the wreck. So it wasn't pleasant. So Social Security and Medicare, just a federal government program to pay for retirement, disability benefits, medical insurance, so on, so on, so on. When I think I have about 4 or 5 years before I'm able to retire. When I retire, I can get my insurance through my retirement plan, the state retirement plan. And you need to make sure when you go get some kind of job or whatever that they have some kind of retirement plan for you. That's why, and we'll talk about that, that's why Social Security is struggling a little bit at the moment. But when I retire, I'll be 59, 60, somewhere around there. Well, you can't start drawing this stuff till you're 65. All right, so that means for that 5 years there, I have to pay for all the stuff myself before I can start on this, before I can use the Social Security, Medicare, any of that stuff for the insurance and everything else. So you got to watch and make sure that you still have all the medical insurance and everything. Social Security, sort of, it's been in trouble for the last few years. I'm not sure how the federal government, because 10 years ago, and you guys probably wouldn't remember this, but 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they were saying we wouldn't have Social Security in 5 years because it was all going to be, all the money was going to be gone. So they figured out some way to pay for it, which you know how the government figures out ways to pay for it. They just tax their people more and then give the money right back to you. All right? That's all my wife finally told me a couple days ago that we were getting that $250 check or whatever it is for each kid per month. I never even knew that we were getting it. She probably didn't tell me because she didn't want to hear me complain about it. Because where's that $250 come from? Tax money. Who pays the tax money?
You do.
I do. So they're just giving me back my own money that they're taking from me, which that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So she was keeping it.
Well, probably. I don't know. She'd probably get ready to divorce me, Nathan, and she's got this big stockpile of money somewhere.
It's okay, we've all been
Well,
If your wife doesn't want to hear your complaints, you come and complain to us.
Right.
We've all been there.
So, with Social Security, I'm not sure where that money's coming from, but if you look on your check stubs, you'll probably see different companies put it different ways on the check stub. It'll say Medicare, Social Security, something along those lines, and you can see how much they take out. These both have a percentage that they take out, and I think that's what's gonna be on the next slide here. You gotta make sure you know these percentages so you can use them on the stuff that we do. FICA is Federal Insurance Contributions Act. Been around for a long time. And what's part of that, and it's not just these two things, but these are the two main things. Social Security benefits and Medicare and Medicaid benefits. Some of this stuff, as you write some of this down, especially those percentages, you might want to circle them, whatever. That tells how much. That's been consistent for a few years now, both of those. What has changed is, you can see I put little things down there at the bottom of each one, trying to update it since our book was put out. What has changed is when they take, or how much they take out as far as up to a certain wage, and with Medicare, they actually, now if you earn more than $200,000, they take out an extra little bit. So when Elijah goes out and he gets his $250,000 job next year, he'll have to pay that extra 0.9%, almost 1% into Medicare. When you pay 6.2% for Social Security, your employer also matches that. So you pay it in, your employer pays it in, and then there's that much more in that Social Security fund. And still there's a lot, we're taking a lot more out of the Social Security fund than we're putting into it. Same thing for Medicare, your employer matches. So you put in 1.45%, the employer matches that with the 1.45% into that retirement fund. And again, you can't start drawing on this until you're 65, or, like we were talking about earlier, if something happens, then you can start drawing on that extra money. My grandma, when she was still alive, her husband, her second husband, passed away, and she was, I think at that time she was like 62, 63, and her husband was a little bit older than her, and he was drawing Social Security for a couple years. But then when he passed away, she wasn't allowed to draw his Social Security until she turned 65, and she got the survivor's benefit of the Social Security and his retirement fund. He worked for like the county or something. So you gotta really know what's going on with these things, and don't expect that when you're drawing Social Security, it's going to be a whole lot. Any idea what your dad, how much he draws?
No idea.
Probably, I don't want to say, it's probably enough to live off of,
Yeah.
but not enough that you can just live and do whatever you want.
Maybe also can see a couple of that is.
In 2013, again, they put in that extra money for Medicare. For Social Security, our book says that you pay Social Security up to $97,500, then after that, you don't pay anymore in Social Security. Now it's up to 137,700. That was as of 2020. They jacked it up. So this 9750 or 97,500 is no longer in place. But that's what our book goes by because it's a little older. This is a check stub that I got offline. Different things on this. Again, if you're looking at your check stub, you find different things. Federal tax, that's how much they paid in federal tax. STRS, that's a retirement plan. So this person put in $353 or so in that retirement plan. I only got this part of the thing on here. I don't think I can move it. Oh no, here it is, all right. And you'll notice right here, the employer matched that retirement plan. Then down here you got Medicare, 3217. Somebody got a calculator out, help me out. Let's see, 3217, sorry that's ugly. Divided by, we got their gross pay, we got their adjusted gross pay, and then somewhere on here there should be their take-home pay, which I may have cut it off. But the gross pay is how much that person actually got paid. The adjusted gross pay is the government lets you take certain things out before they start taking out taxes. Matt, you better put that away before I take it. So somebody help me out and take, if you can read that. 3217 divided by 1815.73. Should come up to be some decimal. What did anybody come up with?
It's 52, right?
It's 3217. Let me write it over here so we can see it. 3217 divided by 1815.73.
Right. $73?
Yeah.
That's not what I got.
No, what are you talking about? I haven't put anything up there yet. Divide this,
We won't name their names.
32.17 divided by 1815.73.
0.0177.
Don't tell me the zero in front of the decimal.
Okay.
Point,
0.01771.
so point zero, that's supposed to be a zero. Point, stupid pen. 0.017, is that what you said? So, what that's telling us, 0.017, if I go back here, that's just the Medicare. So this person, for this, notice that they had a retirement plan. It's not Social Security. So they're not paying into Social Security. And what happens here is this person will be able to draw some type of Social Security, but if they've worked this job their whole career, they've never really paid into Social Security. They've paid into Medicare, so they've paid in for the medical insurance part of it, but they've never paid into the Social Security, the retirement part of it. But there may be some, some things that they can still draw on as far as that goes when they retire. But all this is, all that 3217 is the Medicare part of it, the health insurance part of it. Riley's gross weekly pay as a parts inspector, $728. His earning to date for the year, $26,208. What amount does his employer deduct from his pay this pay period for Social Security, and how much for Medicare? What is the total deduction? How much does his employer pay in for each? So all we're going to do here is we're going to take these numbers. The only reason they tell you this number is because it can't be more than that $97,500, which it's not, so we don't have to worry about that. Have your calculator out and help me. You're going to take the 728, that's his normal pay, and you are going to multiply it by, what was the percentage for Social Security? What was the percentage for Social Security? 6.2%, thank you. What do we gotta do that 6.2% before we multiply it? So it becomes 0.062. Somebody multiply that for us. 45.1, what? 36. So instead of 136, what are we gonna do to that? Because it's money, so we want it to be what? So round it to what? $45.14. That's how much Riley pays in for Social Security. How much does his employer pay in for Social Security? How can we figure out how much his employer pays in for Social Security? What they tell us about Social Security? If I pay in $45.14, how do we know how much the employer pays in? They match it. So I pay in $45.14. How much they pay in? $45.14. We take that same number and to do Medicaid or Medicare, we take 728. What was the decimal or the percentage? I'm sorry. What was the percentage for Medicare?
1.45.
Bump that over two places. What's that? What are we going to multiply by? What's that give me as a decimal? 0.0145. Somebody multiply those two for me.
556.
10 point what?
556.
And what are we going to round that to? $10 and what? 56 cents. So that's how much we pay in. How much does the employer pay in? What do we know about it again? They match it. So $10 and 56 cents. That's what the employer pays to Medicare. Let's see how much for Medicare. We did all that. What's the total deduction? So on his check stub, it's probably going to say something like this: SS, MED or something. It'll probably have that slash, and then they'll have a total amount out here. How are we going to figure out how much total that the employer deducted from his pay this time? What are you going to do with these two numbers? Add them together. Somebody help me out. 45.14 plus 10.56.
55.7.
0.7.
Yeah.
How do I write that? Do I write it that way? Put a 0 at the end. Good. So on his check, $728, somewhere on his check stub, there's gonna be something on there that says that they deducted about $55 for Social Security and Medicare. Let's do this just real quick. Federal income tax. What did we say about federal income tax? It's about what percentage that they deduct out of your check. It was an easy percent. Everybody remembers? About 10%. What's 10% of $728? What do you do to just bump the decimal over one place? So about $72, $73. State income tax. Here in Ohio, anybody remember? You're gonna lose that again. You're gonna lose it again. No, put it somewhere, put it in your bag or something. Caleb, you guys know that there's nothing here, right? There's nothing blocking my line of sight. With state income tax, anybody remember on Ohio? When it, what was it? Something, anybody have that chart laying there somewhere? Like 5, 6, 7%, I don't remember what it was. We had, no, the other chart, that one.
Wait.
You don't remember yet.
3%.
Don't look it up, Elijah, because we're not gonna go by what Nathan says.
Is 0.53% to 5.33%.
So,
I don't even know where I tried.
so we'll say,
No, you laughed about it too, you're right.
so we'll say 5%. To figure out 5%, if this was 10%, how could we figure out 5%? What's 5% gonna be in relationship to that $73 there? If this was 10%, my screen wouldn't change. If this was 10%, 5% would be what part of that? Half. Somebody tell me what's half about $73, just something close. Make a guess,
27.
a little more than that,
$42.
a little less than that.
30.
$20.
Levi was on the right track, 37. You said 27, right? 37 would be real close. All right, so let's say about $37. That's in state tax. Does anybody know what the school tax is here? Let's just say it was 1%. All right, if it was 1%, instead of with 1%, 10%, we bump the decimal over one place. 1%, how many places are we gonna move the decimal over? So about $7. So let's just add these up real quick. What's 73 plus 37? You should be able to do that in your head.
So,
What's 100?
110 plus another 55. What's 110 plus 55? 165. What's 165? Let's just say, let's change this and make it $10. What's 165 plus 10? So right now, how much in deductions is this person gonna have from their check? Could we figure out somewhere close what their net pay, what their take-home pay should be? 728 minus 175, somebody help me out. Now again, this is just, if Noah goes out and he's got a job somewhere, does this mean this is gonna be exact? No, but we're getting some idea about how much we should be able to bring home. So that when Nathan goes out and he works his job and he says, hey, I worked 32 hours this week and I make $10 an hour, then he can figure that out and decide, well, I'm not actually gonna have all that money to bring home, but I should have about this. And you could get some idea before you get your check.
553.
553, anybody else get that?
Yeah.
So out of that, he's gonna bring home maybe 553. There's probably gonna be other deductions taken out of there. But we can say about $550, somewhere around that out of the 728. So if you do, let's say, hell, it's, we said 550. Somebody, what was it, 175? Let's do this. What's 175 divided by 728? Somebody divide that for me. It's going to give you a decimal. I think you divide it backwards. 0.2 what?
40.
4.
0.
This is a good estimate. Matt goes out and he's got a job. The government's going to take out anywhere from 20 to 25%. So if you got a job, Nathan's got this job, he works 32 hours, he made $10 an hour. Somebody help me out, what's 32 times 10? 320. That's his gross pay. Right? That's the total amount that he made for that week. Is he going to bring home that much? So if he's thinking, I got homecoming coming up, and I want to know, am I going to have enough money that I can ask Sally out and take her to homecoming? And he's counting on that check, and he says, you know what, I'm going to rent a limo because I really like this girl. He's probably trying to impress her, right? Because, you know, he's not going to have a whole lot of chance with a whole lot of women, so he wants to make sure he does it right the first time.
Right, so you're gonna, that shoe is gonna be
I'm just messing with you, Nathan. You're a great looking young man. Any woman would love to have you.
Yeah, can I use the restroom?
So he wants to make sure he's gonna rent a limousine to haul this girl to homecoming. And he wants to make sure he's got enough money to rent a limousine, go out to eat, so on and so on. Can he base his how much money he's going to spend off of this 320? So what I would do if it was me, I would take 320 each time whenever I was getting a check, and I would multiply it by the high end, which is 0.25. Somebody help me out. What's 320 times 0.25?
80.
$80. That's how much is going to be taken out. So how much is Nathan going to bring home? How are we going to figure out how much he's going to bring home? What's that give us?
240.
That's what Nathan should base all the stuff that he's going to do. Look, I made him mad now. He's laying his head down. So he should base stuff off of the fact that he's going to have $240 in that check, not the 320. Again, Alex, is that going to be exactly right?
No.
But it gives him some idea, some jumping off point on what to base stuff on. All right, if you got to make payments this week, and you're thinking, all right, am I going to have enough to make my insurance payment, my car payment from this check? You got to go by the 240, not the 320. When I was working, outside of school and stuff, before I got married and everything else, I made sure every couple of weeks I was doing this just to see, all right, how much. This is the assignment page 137, 1 through 19. Get your books out, get out a sheet of paper. We'll start working on this together. Carly, did you have last time's assignment? Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Are you lying to me? Get out your books, we'll start working some of this together. Or
She said she'd give it to me.
I'll just make it longer. If nobody wants to do this stuff, I'll make it longer and you can do it all on your own. Elijah, you're not going to be the only one answering my question with the calculator, right? Holler at them, Elijah, tell them they gotta start helping.
Elijah, you can handle it, right?
Again, and this is probably second time all year long. This is the way this class should run all year. You should have this amount of time, about 30 minutes. Should that be enough time to get this assignment done? Probably so. And that's the way most of the year will run. Number one, are we ready? Everybody's got out a calculator so you can help me? Yes, no, maybe? Number one, find the amount withheld, Social Security and Medicare, and the total deduction. So we're gonna find each amount, then add them together. So we'll have 3 answers for each one. Their monthly salary is $3,100. Their earnings to date is $15,500. The only reason they're even telling you that $15,500, it means absolutely nothing to the problem, other than the fact that if they earn more than $97,500, then you quit taking out Medicare or quit taking out Social Security. So $3,100 is all we really care about here. We're going to take 3,100 times two different numbers. What's the percentage for Social Security? Give me the decimal. 0.62. Everybody agree with no on that? Somebody multiply that. Be ready to tell us that here in a second. What's the for? This is for Social Security. What's the decimal for Medicare? What? Have I got this answer yet?
192.2.
192.2. How are we going to write this again?
Zero.
So that's one of our answers. If somebody tells me the wrong answer, please tell me, all right? Because I'm not saying that Elijah is telling me the wrong answer, but if you're going to write down the wrong answer, somebody tell me, hey, that's not what I got. How about this one?
449.5.
What is it?
$449.5.
I have zero.
Does that seem right?
Oh no, it's 44.95.
How come I thought that didn't seem right?
That's $449.
That was, Medicare should be less than Social Security, right? So if it comes up to be more than Social Security, we probably did something wrong. So that's our second answer. What do we do to get the third answer? What do we do to get the third answer?
Add those together.
Somebody help me out.
You have an extra buck, this
237.50.
237.50.
237.15. That's the total deduction.
Is that right?
All three of those are your answer. They want the Social Security amount deducted for Social Security, amount for Medicare, and then the total amount. Next one, this person has a weekly salary of $350. And their earnings to date, $16,800. Again, they're just telling you that $16,800 so you know that they didn't earn more than $97,500. So we really don't care about that. All we care about is the $350. What are we gonna take $350 times?
0.062.
We might be doing that and times what else?
0.0145.
Somebody help me out on the first one.
21.70.
Say it again.
21.70.
So that's one of our answers, $21.70. How about for, this is for Social Security, how about for Medicare?
5.075.
What are we gonna round that to? 5.08. Remember, we only want, for money, only want two places behind the decimal.
And then you're gonna add those other.
So what do you get?
26.70.
2678, is that right?
Yes.
Those are your three answers. Everybody got those? Did you say wait? Sorry. I didn't, I heard it as I was pushing. Nathan, I really wasn't doing that just to mess with you this time. Normally I would have been, but this time I wasn't. You get it? Number three, they give us this chart on number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Person's gross pay. First one is $125, is that right? So what are we gonna do with that 125? Times it by what?
0.62 and then 0.0.
So first one give us
7.75.
7.75.
Yes.
So that's answer A, I think, in that little box, right?
Yeah.
Do they have them labeled that way, A, B, and C or something?
Yeah.
That's answer A. How about this one?
81.25.
1 point, say it again.
81.25.
What are we gonna round that to? 1.81. I would probably accept either answer here, 1.81 or 1.82. That's letter B.
Add those together.
Add them together, what do you get? Say it again. Could this stuff go pretty quick if Everybody has their calculators out and helping us a bunch? Yeah, we could be through probably about 10 of these problems right now. What's the next one? How much? 432, thank you, times 0.062, and 432 times 0.0145. Anybody get the first one yet?
26.784.
What we gonna round that to? Let's just round it. 78. Does everybody agree with that? How about the second one?
$6.264.
What we gonna round that to?
6.24. Or 26.
24, 26, which one?
26.
26?
Yeah. What's that?
Send me the number again.
6.264.
6.3.
I was just confused because you jumped 2 pennies there, that confused me a little.
I read 24.
Yeah, that's all right. I just didn't, I was confused. What do we do with those two? What do you get?
Three and four.
Anybody else get that? Number 5. What's the money on this one? How much this person earn on number 5? We take 241 times 0.062. Take that. 241 times 0.0145. Anybody get the first one yet?
14.94.
0.94. That's one of our answers. About the second one.
3.49.
3.49. What do we do with those two?
Add them.
What do you come up with? 43 cents? Everybody got all those?
Second.
Okay. What number were we on?
6.
Six. What's the number for 6? How much money are they making? 62?
Yeah.
We're gonna take that 1562 and times it by 0.062 and 0.0145. Not the first one.
96.84.
Second one.
22.65.
Add them up.
$119.49.
Number 7, same kind of problem. Are we still in the chart or are we on something else?
We have
We're on the chart. Number 7 says use Social Security tax 6.2 up to 97,500 and Medicaid or Medicare 1.45. Solving the problems. Somebody read that to me because I can't see those words. I don't feel like going back and getting my glasses.
number 7.
Yeah.
Gross paid this month is $6,223.
All right, let's stop right there for 1 second. 6,223.
Yes.
So that's probably the number we're gonna use, right? Now let's keep reading to make sure that she didn't make too much.
Her earnings to date for this year are 23,631. How much does her employer deduct from her paycheck this month for A, Social Security, and B, Medicare?
So this time we're just gonna have two answers, right? What do we multiply 6223 by?
23.631, right? Oh, wait.
What do we multiply this by for Social Security? 0.062. How about for Medicare?
0.0145.
Anybody do the first one yet?
385.83.
We agree with that? Next one. How much for Medicare? Say it one more time. 90.23. Everybody agree with that? This time they didn't ask us to add them, they just said find those two, so that's all we need to do. Number 8. Oliver earns $45,440 per year as a basketball coach. So does he make more than the $97,500? So we don't have to worry about that part, we just find the percentages.
Receives his pay on a semi-monthly basis.
Semi-monthly basis, how much does the school deduct per pay for each?
Social Security, Medicare.
Oh, and this time they want the total, right? Oh, total monthly deduction. We'll figure that out here in a second. So the first thing we need to figure out for Oliver here is how much he makes on a semi-monthly. Does anybody remember what semi-monthly mean? Semi-monthly, it's sort of the oddball one. It's what I make here at the school. Means I'm getting paid how many times per month?
2.
Twice a month. So how many pays am I getting in a year? 24. So what was his total pay?
45,440.
45,440. And we're gonna divide that by what? 24. Go back, divide by 24, somebody help us out. 45,440 divided by 24.
1,893.380.
So that's how much he earns on each pay. How are we gonna figure out how much Social Security and how much
You do.
Medicare they take out?
Multiply it by 0.62.
And we multiply it by what?
0.15.
Did I get the first one yet? 39. About for Medicare. So that's two of our answers. Now, to explain this, they said find the monthly deductions, and this is what they do on my pay stub here at school. They pay me twice a month, but they take out certain things on the first check of the month, certain things on the second check. They're not just gonna take out $117.39 if they're only taking it out on one check. So what do they do to that to get the whole month Social Security that I have to pay, if I'm getting paid twice a month? Multiply it by 2. somebody tell me what the first one was.
117.93.
So we're gonna times that by 2. That's gonna give us the amount of Social Security that they take out each month. How much is that?
234.78.
So that's how much Social Security they take out.
And then we're gonna multiply it,
What was the other one?
27.45.
multiply that by 2.
0.45?
Yeah.
What's that give us?
54.9.
Make sure you add that 0 right. So this is the amount of Social Security they take out, this is the amount of Medicare they take out.
I don't know.
So on my check stub, if they were doing this, it would say Social Security / Medicare, and they only take it out once a month, so they would do what with these two? Add them up like Lane said.
$289.68.
So sometimes Ben might have to watch out depending on how he gets paid and stuff, because he's gonna go in there and go, he's gonna go into his boss when he gets his check and go, hey, you stupid idiots, Ebersole taught me this stuff. You took out almost $300 in Medicare and Social Security, and it shouldn't be that much. You guys are a bunch of effing idiots, and then he's not gonna have a job, and he's gonna come to find out later, oh, they were taking it out for the whole month, and they only take it out that one time. Alright, so don't be silly, make sure you know what you're talking about before you do something stupid, right? We're on number 9. Probably the last one I'm gonna do. Thomas Schmidt is a designer for Hall Toys. He is married, earns $526 weekly, and claims no allowances. His gross pay, that probably means if he claims no allowances, probably means his wife supports him. His gross pay to date this year totals $9,912. How much does the company deduct from his paycheck this week for federal income tax?
Social Security and Medicare taxes.
What is the
Total deduction.
total deduction? So once we get them all, we're gonna add them all up. Anybody, what'd they say he made this week? 536. 26? 26. Somebody help me out. So for $526, how much in federal income tax does he pay? Where are we gonna find that at? Who's gonna make a guess? Well, when this test rolls around here, I'm sort of getting worried. Where can we find how much federal income tax he pays?
Oh, yeah.
So somebody get out that chart for the federal income tax, so we can look it up. That chart, I hope everybody still has, so that when it comes test time, and I say, here's your test, Adam, and he looks at it and goes, oh crap, I don't know where that chart's at. Don't worry me. They said he's, did they say he was married? He's married, claims no allowances. So look on the married chart, 0 allowances. And find $526. But find it yet? How much is it?
I wanna say like, since there is like 26, we like 41 something.
Oh no, I'm hearing different answers. What is it?
39.
39? That's good. $41. So 39, 41, which one are we going with?
I'd say 41.
I say 41.
41? So what was the 39 people, what were they doing?
They were looking at 5.
Up to 520, and he made a little more than that, so we had to go just a little bit farther, right? So $41 in federal income tax, how are we gonna figure out Social Security?
0.62.
Gonna multiply that, somebody multiply that for us.
Here, I'll say 526 times 0.145.
40,
Wait, you read the answer?
yeah,
Oh, I got 32.61.
is that what you said? I just heard you wrong? So $32.61, now we need Medicare, and that means we're gonna take 526 times what?
0.1.
7.65? 63. Now, before I go any farther, and I probably should have said this back a ways. If you look at this, this is $8 maybe, something close to $8, right? This is $32. Social Security should be about 4 times as much as this. What is 4 times 8?
Oh, wait, no.
32. Is that pretty close?
Sorry, something.
So in case you're messing up somewhere, you can check. This one should be about 4 times as much as that one. Not exactly 4 times, but somewhere close. What are we gonna do with all those? Say it again, 8.
81.20.
Anybody else get that? Do this for me on that homework. Get rid of number 11. You don't have to do number 11. Do the other problems. I'll get rid of one of them for you since you helped me out a little bit.